Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. Oh, Fani Willis, for we knew you all too well. Fani Willis is supposed to be the DA of Fulton County, Georgia, though given her behavior, I'm starting to think that DA is short for dumbass. I didn't want to actually say anything about Fanny the Mammy and that whole legal imbroglio she's got herself tangled up in. I wanted to wait until after it was decided whether or not the good old boys would remove her from the Trump case or not. Now, Brother Tariq has already weighed in on this, and he's posted a fantastic video about how Fanny the little mammy has now become Fani Willis the militant midget. For those paying attention, the disciplinary hearing taking place with Fani Willis isn't to decide whether the Trump prosecution in Georgia is going to continue. No matter what happens to her, that case is going to go ahead regardless. But it is to decide whether she has to be removed from the case. Now, of course, in practical terms, if Fani Willis can be removed from this case, then the Republicans they've already been passing laws and they've been doing maneuvering behind the scenes. They'll try to make sure that she gets replaced with somebody who's going to cut Trump a break. It does not help us either way. Trump's fortunes are not going to be helping us or hurting us, so it's irrelevant. Though for Fani Willis, it is very, very much important. For those who may not be aware, what's happened is lawyers who basically are working for Donald Trump have decided that they're going to be challenging Fani Willis's ability to prosecute this case on the grounds that there's a conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest? Well, apparently a male assistant DA or special prosecutor, whatever you want to call him, that she brought in on the case, she was having allegedly a romantic relationship with this man, and that apparently he was using the money that she was paying him with and taking her on vacations or buying her gifts or what have you. Now, ordinarily what would happen with these cases is you got to be able to actually prove that there's a direct connection between the money that she paid him and the gifts that she got. In other words, that there was an arrangement that the only reason you're getting paid like this is specifically you better kick that money back to me. At least that's what it would be under law, but of course, as we all know, under white supremacy, the law is whatever they say it is. Fani Willis may have been confused about that, but the good old boys in Georgia are not. Now, that's what apparently this entire thing is about. Was she having a relationship with this man? She's basically trying to talk around it and say that, well, we weren't dating or this, that, and the third. But the point is, this guy was buying gifts, this guy was taking her places, and she's saying, well, I didn't have a relationship with this man as my plan. It's just a matter of that's none of nobody's business, etc., etc. The judge on this case said during a hearing that Willis could be disqualified from the case if evidence is produced demonstrating an actual conflict or the appearance of one. So he's saying that Trump's lawyers don't have to actually prove that there was a conflict of interest. They merely have to show the appearance of one. Well, what something appears to be is usually entirely in the eye of the beholder. Unfortunately for Fani Willis, she won't be one of the ones beholding. And now Fani Willis, after the years that she's spent making it a point to go after black people and letting these suspected white supremacists go, she's gone out of her way to make it very clear, I'm just here to interpret and carry out the laws and enforce them in an impartial manner. Well, now all of a sudden she's trying to blacken up her image. Yeah, she's got her butt in a crack, and she does the same thing a lot of these clowns do whenever these Negroes who thought to themselves that they finally had a foot inside the door of Massa's house, and Massa slams that door on their foot. Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to run back to the community. All of a sudden, they remember that they're black, and they're waving that flag about the only thing she didn't do was to put up a ragged black power fist. It would be a joke coming from her, but when she says, I'm not the one who's on trial here, no, she's wrong. This is a trial, and she knows it. Tough talk is not going to help her out on this one. Now she thinks to herself that she's going to blacken things up. What a joke. And she even brought her own father into it, too. Fani Willis said that she reimbursed this prosecutor that she's allegedly romantically involved with for whatever expenses that he put out. She paid him back in cash, she said, for some of those expenses that he had been charging to his credit card. Now what's happened is attorneys for Trump and for some of the co-defendants, they've decided to say that, well, she can't necessarily prove all of this if it's all in cash. Isn't that a convenient thing for her to say? Well, then again, Donald Trump, he's done pretty much the same, so those who live in glass houses. But Fani Willis's father was brought in basically to vouch for his daughter. I mean, what do you expect this guy to say? You expect him to say, no, she's lying, man. It ain't nothing that's been paid back. No. Instead, he did exactly what you expect. He said, yes, she keeps large amounts of cash at home. I'm sure that any burglars or thieves watching this trial, they're going to be delighted to know that. Nothing like broadcasting to the world that the DA has large amounts of cash at her house. What could possibly go wrong? And her father also said, it's a black thing. Most black folks, they hide cash. They keep cash. Oh yeah, that's what you want to say during the middle of this trial too. It's a black thing. Well, I don't keep large amounts of cash around the house, and as for hiding it, most black people don't even have enough cash to hide. It's just a strange thing to say. Now, white media reports have put out, and there's been some videos apparently backing this up, that Fani Willis's father, John Clifford Floyd III, had been a Black Panther back in the 1960s, but eventually left the organization and decided that he was going to go to alternative means to promote himself in society. I mean, to a fight for black empowerment. But in court, he went out of his way to throw in the word black. He wanted to make sure he got that in there. He just wanted to get in his line about it's a black thing, because that's what he and his daughter is doing. Let's make sure we say black as much as possible. He and his daughter were going heavy with emphasizing their blackness, something they've never done before now. I'm sure the good old boy authorities in Georgia will be glad to hear that. I'm sure that they'll be solidly on her side after that, right? I would say that it's amazing, only it's not. It's totally predictable because we keep seeing it. We've seen it so many times before. How quickly Fani Willis turned from a tough-on-crime prosecutor in the mold of Kamala Harris, who tried to build her political cred with the white establishment by making high-profile spectacles out of going after black people. But the first time that she goes after a white suspect, she's the one who gets jammed up, and the Democrats aren't saying boo about it. You know, this all reminds me of Mike Nifong. He was the prosecutor who went after the Duke lacrosse players, but before it was all over, white power decided to go after him, and he was disbarred and put in prison. The Democrats at the state and federal level are letting Fani Willis be swinging in the wind. Whatever's going to happen is completely and thoroughly out of her hands. They're not bringing any political force to bear on her behalf. Now, what they'll say is, well, we don't want to look like we're trying to take sides in this thing. What are you talking about? You got the Democrats leading efforts to have Trump taken off the ballots in numerous states. You got these guys who brought not one but two impeachments against them. This ain't a matter of an appearance of impartiality. This is just a matter of this black woman here. She thought that she was on the team, and they're letting her know the same thing they let the rest of these bootlicks know. You ain't on the team, you're just out here by yourself. And she's not alone, even dumb as she is. You got that ex-Detroit police chief, James Craig. Apparently he was running for an open U.S. Senate seat in Michigan. He was running as a Republican. I guess that's why I didn't even know that this clown was even in the running. This guy, who, by the way, has appeared on Fox News numerous times, always to attack the black community and always to repeat the white supremacist line, he just knew that all those racist white right-wingers that he was kissing the crusty behinds of and going out of his way to cater to them, he just knew they would love his stinking drawers and be tripping over their shoelaces and their Jethro Bodine rope belts so that they could vote for him. Only they didn't. Yeah, just like Daniel Cameron, he thought that he would run for higher office literally over Breonna Taylor's dead body, but that white GOP voter base that he was hoping for never materialized. See, that's the problem these clowns don't get. Just because they pretend, oh, I don't see color, I just see nothing but Americans here. Yeah, the problem is them GOP voters, they do see color, and they don't like yours. They preferred having a Democrat in office over having a black Republican. Yeah, James Craig is finding out that that glass ceiling, that's over his head too, and no, you ain't breaking through it anytime real soon. But this isn't the first time that Negro James Craig has had his political ambitions crash and burn. He tried and failed to run for the governor of Michigan 2 years ago. That time, his campaign imploded after it was shown that a number of the signatures that he had collected to get himself on the ballot had been forged. Many of the signatures appeared to have been written by the same person. Now, of course, James Craig claims to know absolutely nothing about that. His lawyer said, why, my client here is the victim of his own stupidity, perhaps. So this guy is a certified two-time loser, no doubt going for a three-peat. He's a perpetual candidate now, just like Kerry Lake. He's just going to keep on putting his name on the ballot for something, governor, senator, dog catcher, anything, until eventually the law of averages kicks in and he wins something because, well, it's just time mathematically for him to get something. He couldn't control Detroit. He couldn't even control his own campaign. Now, who wouldn't want that kind of sterling leadership? Apparently, everyone. This guy's reputation already precedes him. See, that's the thing that the bootlicks never understand. These people who they think they're sucking up to, all they're doing is earning their contempt. When you sit here making it clear that you are just so desperate, so thirsty to get their attention, to get their support, They don't look at you and say, oh, well, here's somebody we can count on. Instead, they look at you, and at best, they see a useful idiot, and at worst, they see a begging dog who they just don't want around. But my question is, why is this guy calling himself a conservative? Why is he trying to be a conservative? The black conservative is a contradiction in terms. Not just because these clowns are all two-bit grifters who only trash black people so they can get some easy money from white racists, but also because the word conservative comes from the root term conserve. As Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, what is a black person in America trying to conserve? What part of America's past is so wonderful and rosy that any black person would want to return to it? It's all an ethno-political performance put on to impress and get money from a white audience. The problem for James Craig is that audience that he's trying to get the attention of, they're giving his song and dance thumbs down. And as for Fani Willis, she's just doing the left-wing version of the exact same hustle. The song and dance doesn't change regardless of whose tune they're dancing to. Both Fani Willis and James Craig draw from the same well. And to continue that analogy, both of them wind up drinking from the same toilet. I would love to say that these bootlicks are learning a harsh lesson, but the truth of the matter is bootlicks never learn. They just keep on chasing that white whale. Well, if they just keep on banging their heads against that wall, I'm sure it'll happen for them. Eventually. Right? Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. David Duncan, Alice Ransom, Kenneth Steele, Monique Neely, and Jeffrey Williams. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.